Welcome back to our discussion on form. In this video, we're going to talk about rondo form. Now, rondo form is an outgrowth of the two previous forms we've studied, binary form and ternary form. Now, binary form and ternary form are linked together in that binary is going to have an A section and a B section, and ternary form is going to have an A section, a B section, and then a repetition, usually of the A section. Now, rondo form is a form that's been used by classical composers for hundreds of years. Think Beethoven, Mozart, and Haydn. And oftentimes they would use rondo form as a form to give the listener something familiar to hear. So rondo form, just like you see on the screen here, is going to have one large section. Usually a section, again, is going to consist of anywhere from 8 bars to 64 bars. So you have a large section of an A, and then the pattern is going to change, or the lyrics might change, cueing us that we're going to be going into the B section. Now when we go into the B section, again, this form could be 16 bars, 32 bars. It doesn't have to be the exact same length of the A section, but it's got to be something significant. So it's not just going to be one measure, it's not just going to be 2 measures, but it's going to be something pretty large. Now, in rondo form, the idea is that this A continues to repeat. So the idea is that there is a structure or a musical material that comes back so that you can hear that as an audience, and then you get more familiar with it. So it's kind of like the chorus. And in fact, when we look at song form, keep in mind that the A is kind of like the chorus of today. Even though we're going to call the chorus something different in song form, this is kind of the very early song form. And so oftentimes when people say, "This is my favorite song," they're actually referring to song form. And not all pieces are actually written in song form. Like we've looked at, some are in binary form, some are ternary form, and some are rondo form. So we try to reserve the word song for song form. If a piece of music is written in song form, we'll call it a song. And even though it has lyrics, it may not be a song. But if it's not a song, we generally say that it's a piece or a piece of music. So a piece on the radio that we hear that has just an A and a B section, we might just call it a piece. If it has the song form that we'll study in the next video, then we should call it a song form. In this video, I want to look mostly at rondo form. So again, the rondo form is going to have this A section that repeats, and then it's going to have as many other sections that are contrasting as the composer wants. So for example, the B section could have different lyrics, it could have different chords, it could have a different pattern if it's a piano piece, or it could have a different pattern if it's a wind piece. But the idea is that it has to be contrasting enough so that we know that the A section is finished and a new section has begun. Now, once the B section is over, typically the composers will bring in the A section again because they want to have a little bit of familiarity in their piece of music. And so oftentimes with rondo form, it really helps because every time you hear that A section, just like in your favorite song, if you hear your chorus over and over and over again, it sounds familiar to you and you end up enjoying the song or the piece more. Now in this diagram, we only have a 5-part rondo: A, B, A, C, A. But in reality, rondos could be much longer. And the next thing we would use is D. So if there was a structure or some material after this A section, typically it would be called D, and then we would keep going. But of course, after D would become A again, and then after A would be E, and then after A would be F, and then after A again would be G, and we could just continue on as long as we want. Now, oftentimes composers will take these forms or these templates, just like in a previous video we talked about form being like a template, like a resume template. Oftentimes you'll take a template and you'll modify it. So in practice, not all Beethoven sonatas or Beethoven rondo forms are going to adhere to this exactly, where there's 16 bars of an A section, 16 bars of a B section. then the same A section repeats. Oftentimes, it's just not as clean and cut as we would like it. So when you're looking at finding out what rondo form is, don't be so strict with it. If the A section is 18 bars and the B section is 16 bars, that's okay. And oftentimes, even the A sections, when they come back, they don't repeat entirely. So maybe the next A section might only be 12 bars of the original, or it might be 18 bars, but maybe part of it is changed. So maybe some of the music has been altered slightly. Maybe it's up an octave, maybe it's down an octave, or in an orchestra piece, maybe another instrument is even playing. So if it started with the bassoon, maybe the next A section is in the oboe, or maybe it's in the French horn, or maybe it's a tutti where you've got A section played by everyone, and then the B section is a solo oboe. And then the A section is again a tutti with everyone, and then the C section could be a bassoon part, and then the A section is tutti. So you can use that structure to kind of help you think of material. If you start running out of ideas, then just bring back in the A section and then put some new material over C, and then bring back in the A section, and then have some new material, and then bring back the A section. So this is a really fun form to use, especially if you have so many ideas that you want to encapsulate in your piece of music. You can use rondo form to bring back some repetition, so there's some familiarity, but then you're introducing some new material at the same time. I hope this has been a super helpful structure for you. Put this into practice this week. Write a piece that is in rondo form and see if you can adhere to some of the repetitions of the A form while also finding some new material as you progress. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and move on to the next video whenever you're ready.